And now, your official Tiger Bait postgame show with Mike Scarborough and Preston Guy starts now.
All right, welcome in everybody. Happy New Year, and what a way to head into the new year. Of course, midnight tonight. LSU really ends the 24 season on a very positive note, and I think what really is kind of a snowball effect is it really, I think, there's peak interest back in LSU football after what they've done in the transfer portal the last several weeks. So you combine that with a win tonight over Baylor this afternoon. Really impressive fashion. It could have been a lot worse. 44-31. A lot of positives. I think there's some things we can talk about offensive line-wise. I don't know what it is. Every time we go live, my sinuses start acting up. But
that's happening.
A lot to discuss tonight.
Go ahead, I hate it. I hate it when you start tearing up, especially after a loss, right? And it's just the light and everything going on. Your eye itches a little bit. It's like, I promise you, I am not crying. I'm not crying. But you know what? You know, the Notre Dame fans coming up in here. Oh, LSU reporter cries after getting butt whooped by Bama. But anyways, look, man, I mean, I told everybody last night that I didn't predict LSU to win this game. I thought LSU was missing a number of key players, arguably some of your best players on the team. Kyron Lacey, Mason Taylor, Will Campbell, Emory Jones. I mean, that's probably 4 of your 5 best players on the team right there. And you know, Baylor was fired up. They'd won 6 straight games. They're finally starting to build around Dave. What's up?
They were favored to win.
3.5-point favorite. So I picked LSU to lose this game by a touchdown. And I said, look, if LSU wins this game, go ahead and start loading up the hype train, because that means a lot of young players in roles that they were having to step into stepped up in a big way. And that's more or less what we saw tonight. So I think that it's very exciting for the future. You layer this in with what you're getting from the transfer portal, the great job that the backup offensive line did, because I mean, 4 out of 5 guys are playing out of position. This was your basically your second string offensive line out there. And what's going on with Trey'Daz Green getting a pair of touchdowns. A lot of freshmen played very well. So all of a sudden, things aren't looking so doom and gloom for next year, huh, Mike?
No. In fact, I was on with the Baylor guys 365 yesterday, doing a segment, breaking this one down, and done a lot of work with them over the years. The Kim Mulkey, whether she was staying in Waco or coming to Baton Rouge, and we share the same platform for our websites, and got to know a lot of those guys. Garrett Ross, who writes for us, produces the 365 Sports Show and lives in Waco and covers both teams. You know, look, they were very confident. They thought they were going to win this one. They're melting down in Waco in a big way. 6-game win streak for them. But absolutely right. I mean, it's you know, a lot of people. I see Kevin Winslow. Skeptical Mike is here.
That's what I'm laughing about.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. I mean, I know where I was at a month ago.
Yeah,
heading into the portal, and look, I think I'm not the only one. I think a lot of people were highly skeptical about what they might do in the portal. But what did I say also on multiple shows? You want to get to the Christmas break where you're talking about what a job Austin Thomas did in that whole group. And it's not just him, it's the entire staff. And you got to have money to spend. And boy, did they go out in a big way. You got the top-ranked transfer portal class. So you combine that with a win in the Texas Bowl, how much you think it matters or not, it really puts an extra pep in a step heading into the off-season conditioning program, spring football, a lot of new faces, 37 redshirt and true freshmen, some great wide receivers coming in to go with what you've already got. Chris Hilton. What about Chris Hilton in bowl games? He seems to be, that's where he likes to shine. You know, if is this the sign now where he's had several games in a row where if he's that guy going into next year and he can stay healthy, then, and you on top of, what you just signed in the portal and your freshman, just a whole lot to be excited about. But like someone said in the chat, and we're going to get to them, still a few pieces needed: safety, a tight end or two. And we're going to see how that plays out once the playoffs are done, because there's still going to be an opportunity for players that are on playoff teams to get in the portal. And I think that's why it's gotten quiet. All right, go ahead.
You want to knock out the big negative of the night, because it's a big positive night. And I think there's a lot of positive momentum as we talking about
Depends
the roster
on what it is.
The DBs. Okay.
No, they stink. They
445 yards. You absolutely need to get some safeties in the portal. I believe you've addressed corner adequately with who you're bringing in and Pickett. I think you got to get 2 safeties, and you don't have 1 right now. So, but that being said, 445 yards tonight. Look, there's players on playoff roster who will be available. There are players who in spring will enter the portal again. It's not over. It's not over. Trust me, this staff knows they're keeping some reserve funds off to the side, ready for good players. They don't want to take bodies. Bodies are how you get to an 8-4 roster. They want to get the guys who help them win football games, and those guys might not be available yet. They're smart enough to know that's going on.
Absolutely. And of course, look, you guys do us a favor. Please hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. And, also please share the show out to your Facebook wall, tweet it out, and send a link to via text message to some of your friends, and very much will appreciate that. Of course, our title sponsor for years of our post-game show has been Kenny Haines, and let's hear from him right off the bat.
Kenny Haines is a proud 1989 graduate of LSU Law School with a passion for justice. Kenny stands out as the only lawyer in the state, board certified in both appellate practice and family law. Drawing from 34 years of trial experience, Kenny has navigated the most complex aspects of real people's lives. If you need help in Northwest Louisiana with a family issue, legal issue, or a highly skilled trial attorney, call Kenny, 318-222-2100.
And, of course, Kenny is the unofficial official lawyer of TigerBait.com, and he reserves the right to think most clearly for a paying client. And another one of our great sponsors is Genesis of Lafayette. There you go. Genesis of Lafayette, the premier luxury dealership offering the finest cars and SUVs in the region, coupled with the best service anywhere. Genesis of Lafayette has a huge inventory of new and certified pre-owned Genesis vehicles. For a truly first-class automotive experience, it's Genesis of Lafayette, 6600 Johnson Street. And you can shop with them online at genesisoflafayette.com or call them at 877-856-2961 and tell them Tiger Bait sent you. Huge LSU fans over there at Genesis of Lafayette. And like I always tell you, there's a reason why they sell more Genesis vehicles in the state of Louisiana than any other Genesis dealer. They're going to go the extra mile for you, and they're going to find exactly what you want. All right, let's get to some comments. And right off the bat, woohoo, go Tigers, made me proud. Definitely need a safety from the portal, says Spectrum Well Care. And as we had that one up earlier, Skeptical Mike is here. Brian DeFore, Tigers must beat Clemson next year. A must win. Absolutely. That losing streak in openers has to end. That is, there's been some embarrassing streaks. I think, nothing will ever top the LSU's home losing streak to Alabama that finally got broke this century. But that losing streak in openers is that just does not go with this type of program. They've got to end that. And there you go. The Franco Nation, that makeshift offensive line held up pretty good. Yeah, they did. Still needs help, and it's on its way. Let's go. There's a lot of reason to be excited there, along with what they're adding from the portal. Got a big-time center coming in. Dane Bergeron, good evening, Mike and Preston. I am home battling the flu. Alabama getting beaten, LSU winning helps me feel better. Dr. John Daniels is here to ring in the new year, and our buddy Bart Smokey. Of course, the Smokey investment team, they've been great to Tiger Bait, and Bart has a great show, Tiger Talk on 96.9 KZMZ in Alexandria, and I'm on that show every Monday at 5:45. He says Nuss was really good. If Anderson catches the one he dropped, he has 4 touchdowns and mid 300 yards.
He had 2 he dropped.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a bad game for Anderson.
It was really very un-Aaron Anderson like, wasn't it? I mean, can you recall a drop by him this entire season? I'm sure there was one, but none that stood out like these.
No, and on top of that, he had a fumble as well. So you look on paper and like, well, 8 catches for 91 yards. 33 of that was the play he fumbled. So
I'll tell you what, that fumble he had, that was a fantastic punch out by their DB.
It was almost lucky.
Dude, it was timed perfectly. It was a great punch out.
It just was perfect placement, timing. He had his hands in the right spot. It wasn't terrible ball security either by Aaron Anderson.
It was a great punch out. It was just momentum.
Sometimes the guy gets he flew in like Superman.
There was some force behind that punch out, and he had momentum behind it. Let's see. Here we go. That's what I was saying earlier, James Moore. If Hilton can consistently catch the ball and stay healthy, he can be a good receiver, but the defense was not impressive. Aspects of the defense. By the way, do we have a diagnosis yet? Our Brian Kelly postgame is up. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Did we have a full-blown diagnosis of Whit Weeks yet?
I didn't watch it either yet because I've been busy writing my story. But I will tell you, it looked like on the video at first that it was broken, but then I saw them look like they were popping it back into place, which would suggest a dislocated ankle, which obviously is much better for Whit Weeks in terms of, it will heal better and he'll be back for spring ball. But regardless, prayers up for Whit Weeks. That was a great scene, seeing the entire team go out to show their support for.
Y'all do me a favor. If y'all listen to the post-game radio or any of that, and you heard exactly, if they nailed down exactly what it is, please post it for us here in the chat. Carl Dunn told y'all so. How about luck on Big 12 guys saying Baylor was going to beat the brakes off LSU? Oh, well, clown. I know the guys over at Sikkim 365 were predicting a Baylor win, but only one of them was kind of foolhardy with it. The other one was kind of up in the air. And look, you expect local media to do that. Our local media does the same thing. Hilton would have made a difference this year. Absolutely, Spectrum Wellcare. Count the money, LSU win, Bama loss. All need to make a New Year's Eve great is an ad for Genesis of Lafayette. There you go. Y'all need to go check out the new GB.
You just played the ad. I like that our viewers are starting to memorize who our sponsors are. And
well, Ann, who's in the chat, talked about on the last show, she made it over to Capital City Grill, and we'll be talking about them later on.
Dude, I went out the other night to Capital City Grill took my friends from out of town. It was so good, man. We had that ribeye that you like to make fun of me for getting with mac and cheese. Oh man, good stuff.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Jeff Garman. The word on week's dislocated ankle.
Right.
On a dislocated ankle, do you still need to do? Is there anything you need to do surgically to shore it up?
I think there is. Yes, for certain dislocations, not all of them. Sometimes you need to repair a tendon or whatever else. But
yeah, because when you start having dislocations, then that's something that can be ongoing if you don't go in there and do something.
Correct. Right. But I don't think it's like a surgery that has a absurdly long recovery time. It's not like you have to have, severe healing there afterward.
There it is. Jeff Garman. He will require surgery. Okay. But that's going in and with a little hole in it. That's easy.
Much better than a broken ankle, which, by the way, a lot of times these injuries never heal 100%. They heal kind of weird, and players lose speed and whatnot. That's not what you want. So I'll take a dislocated ankle that needs surgery.
Jeff Garman, got to have a special teams coach, right, Mike? I don't know what BK is going to do there. I think we're going to, of course, it always happens after the bowl games. I think probably in the next week to 10 days, if there's movement on the staff, you're gonna see it.
Was special teams this year bad enough to justify caning Diaco? I mean, they did have a return kick tonight.
To me, it's like, okay, well, you would like better punt yards. Well, you went out and got a punter.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why he chooses to use a punter for holding on extra points and field goals versus a quarterback. I'm not.
No, I'm gonna just tell you right off the bat. It's because your limited practice time that you have these days, your quarterback gets to focus exclusively on being a quarterback instead of taking time out of their reps to go be a holder.
Yeah, but if you got three quarterbacks, I'd rather have your third quarterback doing it. I mean,
That's what they used to do. I get it,
but
hey, tonight you really
the problem is if you do that with Colin Hurley, he would have burned his shirt.
That's true. That's a very good point. It's not like the old days where you either play or you don't.
Yep. American Patriot, I told you this game wasn't going to be close. LSU is better than Colorado, even the second string. Yeah. Weeks doesn't need spring ball, says Cole Adams.
Right. I agree.
Dane Bergeron, I still think we need a better OC. The guy from Locked On Baylor was laughing, saying LSU didn't have anyone to throw the ball to. Which guy was that? You got Smoke in his son, and those are good dudes, though. They do a great show over there.
It was a thin room, no doubt, but I mean, we've seen.
Okay, Locked On Baylor is separate.
Then Sickle. No. They're talking about the Locked On guys, right? That's not our sister site, the F5 guys. No.
All right, there you go, Bart Smokey. Fire 349 says hit the like button. I've seen LSU podcasters picking Baylor. That's you, Preston?
That's me. But also, you look at the radio station in town. Most of those guys picked Baylor to win. No, I mean the consensus was that Baylor was going to win this game, and had you done a live show, I'm sure you would have picked Baylor as well.
I know I wasn't. I wasn't going to pick Baylor.
So you would have picked LSU.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. I really didn't have
I
didn't have a strong feeling either way. So to be fair,
can't be wrong if you don't give an opinion.
Yeah, I didn't give one. I didn't really have a strong feeling either way. But nothing wrong with that. Here we go. Cole Adams, Sloan's thinking the bubble screen crap is the answer for every need and situation. So easy to read.
I like it every now and then if you execute it right. I think there's some question as to whether or not Nussmeier throws it with enough zip to justify it. There's also a question as to whether or not the guys you have catching the ball are dynamic enough athletes to justify calling it enough.
Mike saw Dylan Carper, Cohen Eccles, and Deshaun Spears getting playing time. Yeah, it's nice seeing Spears in there. Carpenter is a guy that I'm curious to see how he does this spring. I'm sitting there and I'm messaging with one of my buddies, and I said, "Where's Caleb Jackson?" He did get in the portal, but he can't get a rep in a mid-major bowl game, and
he got some carries.
Here he comes 5 minutes later into the game, and so,
yeah.
I'm the famous guy for that.
Mike, there used to be a day and age where if a player wasn't really playing in his first 3 years or was bad in his first 3 years, it's not a big deal. Let him develop. He's got 2 more years to play football for you. And just seems like those days are long and gone, man. I mean, why can't we just let some of these young players like a Dylan Carpenter? So what? He hasn't cracked the field in 2 years. He's got 3 more years left.
I think Caleb Jackson is one of those guys where they said, "Look, just give us the spring. Let's see how you progress in the off season, and then you can make a decision there." But I mean, heck, you just never know how these things are going to go on. I mean, a couple of months ago, coming out of September, maybe mid-October, we were just basically saying it was a done deal that Hilton was in the portal and it was over. Now he ends the season the way he has, and he's dating Flau'jae Johnson. I don't think he's going anywhere. So about that.
Flau'jae, the MVP for the bowl game tonight.
And I tell you what,
balls out.
Her high standards and all that, the two of them together, That's a great match. Both of them with high work ethics can feed off each other, and of course, Flage's a vital part of what Mulkey's doing right now. All right, let's see. American Patriot. When I saw Wes Weeks crying, it hit me. Boy, those announcers for ESPN were terrible. All right, Garrett Nussmeier, 24 of 34, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Had a 168.9 quarterback rating. And but you look at the box score, total yards. Baylor had more, almost 100 yards more than LSU.
They did.
Yeah, 507 to 418.
445 yards passing. That'll do that to you.
But where LSU really back broke them was on third down. And that roughing the punter. I mean, they really had some
fourth down though too, Mike. I mean, look at that. 1 of 6 on fourth down for Baylor. I mean, if Baylor converts like 3 or 4 more of those, this is a different ball game we're talking about.
Right. Bob Wheatley, what are your realistic thoughts on next year? All right, you gave it to me.
This is a conversation I want to get to.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
All right, Mike. Hold up.
No. Don't interrupt. Don't you interrupt me.
You know what's coming.
I'm in a great mood right now.
I'm about to piss you off. Let's go.
No, yeah, don't you do it. Because I'm in a good mood heading into 2025, and you were prone to do it. A month ago, I was absolutely 7-5 next year, 100%. And like I said to start the show, highly skeptical of what they might be able to get in the portal, what they might be able to attract. And holy smokes, they blew it out. And I'm legitimately at 9-3 right now. I've gone up 2 wins, and I think 10-2 is possible. Just need to see how they come together, what they look like in the spring. What additionally they add, because look, you don't have to have a perfect team in college football anymore. You don't. And he gets in the playoffs, which I think they're going to be there. I think there's a lot to be excited about if you're an LSU fan. Again, that we started the show. This win in the bowl game, not a whole lot of excitement heading into it. But I will say I do think the excitement for this bowl game today started to get raised in the last half a week or in the last week because of what LSU did in the portal. And so I think it all feeds into everything else. And I'm extremely upbeat on the projection for LSU next year.
Let me touch on this. So first off, the 9-3 you're talking about there, is that based on what the roster is right now or what you expect it to be after?
Yeah, but I said 9-3 or 10-2, but because of you have to go to Clemson, you have to go to Tuscaloosa.
That's brutal.
Well,
yeah.
You got to go to Norman. Regardless, Oklahoma is going to be a better team.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina, I think they're still going to be a very strong, steady team.
In my opinion,
you have to go to Ole Miss
on LSU schedule are going to get better next year. Maybe Ole Miss won't be as good as they were this year, but I think most of the teams are teams that are on the upward streak. I think there's an argument that Bama's on the way down. Sure. But, I wouldn't expect a free win out of Bama at all. Florida as a team, I think, will be greatly improved next year. But we'll just have to see. Anyways,
here's the thing. The bottom line, pressing on that, is it's hard to win on the road in the SEC.
So one of the things about schedule analysis in December is just like we don't know exactly what your roster is going to finally look up. We don't really know what those teams' rosters are going to finally look at. So it's a little early, premature. I just like to look at the roster you get and kind of say that looks like a 10-win-ish type team and kind of roll with that because the best you got is a crapshoot at this point. Anyways, that being said, I expect based on what I'm seeing, Nussmeier is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I've heard through the grapevine that certain scouts consider Nussmeier the number 2 quarterback in the draft for next year. I think he's just finished a 4,000-yard season. That's big. The receivers are going to be big. Offensive line looks like, offensive line played fairly well tonight. So a lot of those young guys stepping up. You feel confident about Tyree Adams stepping up as a starter. The two guys in the portal, and Brian Kelly said they're not done. So they're going to go get at least one more good guy. So you're really feeling good about that offensive line. I think that right now, I think we're going to get a roster that makes the playoffs next year. I think this is a playoff team we're looking at. It's just a matter of, you need two safeties, period. You cannot have a night where you're giving up passing yards like this and the safeties play like they did tonight. You need better safeties to really compete, but add that and a few more pieces. And I think this roster has, they have an opportunity to be a championship contender. We'll see. And all I'll say is, this is why you don't doom a team for next year in November. You wait and you see.
Yep. Tiger Mark, what's up, guys? Happy New Year. What's y'all's thoughts on Key's play day?
It was good.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with Hurley not getting any touches. I didn't see whether you would put another quarterback in.
If you had continued
that was still a game. All that you were still. You were trying to get first downs with 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
It wasn't out of hand enough to put another quarterback in. Happy New Year to y'all, you as well, and everybody. Kevin Winslow, spot on, Mike. They were terrible. Reminded me of the days of Gary Danielson and the other homers. Sickening. Yeah, they just weren't very good. There's so many bowl games. The Texas Bowl is not going to get ABC, ESPN's
right.
upper level guys. Yeah, Bart Smokey talks. I listen. He knows football. He does. Chucky, Mike, and Preston, Happy New Year. Happy New Year's to all of you guys as well. Word on Weeks, dislocated ankle and will require a little tune-up and surgery, but he'll be fine. And Penn State's beating Boise 14-7 midway through the second quarter. Thanks, Fire.
Quick side note, Mike. Do you think they need to get rid of the automatic conference champion seeding for the playoff? I think that this is an example of you really should have just given the best teams the best seed, right?
I wonder what tweaks they're going to have in the coming years.
I think they need some. By the way, a lot of people were out there talking about, SMU shouldn't have been in. They got blown out, and Alabama should have been there. Well, Alabama goes out and lays an egg today against Michigan, 7-5 Michigan, and Alabama ends with a paltry 9-4 record, just like LSU.
How do you think they're feeling up in Ann Arbor, man? They you want to talk about they had a shaky season to start. They end with wins over Ohio State and Alabama, and they get Bryce Underwood.
They're probably feeling pretty good. And I saw Bryce Underwood in the sideline in that game. And I said, As much as LSU's fans are probably loving seeing that big lead for Michigan, they probably don't like seeing Mr. Underwood in his hat on the sideline.
Mike, it's basketball season now. Yeah.
Oh, Hal's excited.
I put a poll up on the front page of Tiger Bait yesterday, and it's not many people have voted in it yet, but I asked, as far as the women go, how far might they go? Second round, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4. And it's like 34% think Sweet 16, second round and Sweet 16 is the pinnacle. And then you can add, another 67% are saying Elite 8 and Final 4. I'm not sure how far this LSU women's basketball team is going to go, but that's another show. All right, Tiger Mark, on paper, it looks and sounds good for 2025, but they will have to gel as a unit, absolutely. And the coaches will have to coach better. I would love to see Nuss and the new wide receiver get some reps during the summer. They need to do a lot of work on their own and, maybe reach out to Jamar Chase and Jefferson and get the full regimen that those guys did in the spring and summer of 2019 with Joe Burrow. Jerry Munch. Personally, I think LSU could have played all these young guys all season instead of a bowl game. There's some guys there that I don't know. But I think they fared very well replacing the opt-outs. Tre'Davious Green obviously stepped up real big. Chris Hilton is now showing you what might have been, and a lot of excitement with him. So Hilton and Tre'Davious Green didn't have you missing Kyron Lacey and CJ Daniels tonight.
I don't know. I think those guys, I mean, the receivers did not play a super incredible game. I mean, think about the 2 drops and the fumble by Aaron Anderson. I mean, who outside of Aaron Anderson and Chris Hilton really showed you
well, I mean, that's
anything
all that's doing
tonight?
All that's doing is replacing Kyron Lacey's drops. And
well, that's true. That's true. But it's just coming from a New Jersey number. But outside of those 2 receivers, who was your real receiving threat tonight? Xavier Thomas had 3 grabs for 30 yards. No other wide receiver caught the ball. None. Not one. So obviously, yeah, your receiving room was a little thin. You talk about, we were wondering if Billiot, the freshman wide receiver, would get out there and get some action, and he didn't get a target, that's for sure. But, we'll see.
All right. All Tiger Bait live shows proudly brought to you this football season by Stroubes Seafood and Steaks, 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. And locally owned, ownership right there in the building. They take a high level of pride in the food and service that you just don't get from national chains. They feature a full menu of specialty meats, USDA prime black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. And for those looking for something outside of red meat, they offer items such as the dry-aged pork chop, black truffle lobster, pasta, redfish, and much more. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroubes.com and make sure to let them know Tiger Bait sent you in. And by the way, make the call now. Valentine's Day is on a Friday night. Stroubes would be a great destination. Call them now. Call them ASAP, because you want to talk about going to be tough to get a reservation places. Get it done. Kenny Haines and his group were there a couple of Mondays back and had a great meal, and they will be back for his group of attorneys that were in town for getting their CEUs that the attorneys have to get every year. And there you go. All right. Let's get back into some more of these. Yeah, Cole Adams. I don't think he's going to go there. To me, that was very un-Aaron Anderson like tonight. But yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Aaron Anderson is becoming Kyron Lacey. Yeah, I did. Did you see that stat that 5 of the top 7 wide receivers in the NFL in receiving yards are from Louisiana? Chase, Jefferson, CeCe Lamb, Brian Thomas Jr., and Neighbors.
And
it's crazy.
Top 4. And not just Louisiana, but South Louisiana. It's unreal. And it's one of those stats that tells you why LSU is such a special job, because speed players, they grow on trees around here, man. It is uncanny. And whoever's the coach here will have access to that tree. You got to keep them home. You did not keep CD Lamb home, although CD Lamb, he moved away from Louisiana when he was 5. So
that doesn't count.
It doesn't really count, but I get where you're coming from. It's still a cool stat that you even have that connection with him. And this, by the way, this does include Devontae Smith out there. It is uncanny the amount of talent Louisiana puts out a receiver. I wonder if they need to start playing some of these receivers at DB. Is it that, the old adage of DBs can't catch, well, now the DBs can catch and they're all playing wide receiver instead.
Is it against NCAA rules with kids working together during the offseason? No, it is not. That's doing it on your own. And there is a little bit more, and I don't have the rules in front of me, but they get to do a lot of stuff with graduate assistants and other personnel. There's a lot more things that coaching staffs can do now in the off season in recent years than before. But a lot of times it's the quarterbacks and the receivers take it upon themselves to throw with each other for hours is almost daily during the off season. beyond what's required in the football building. So, yeah. You want to see something that you want to put up there, Preston?
Well, a lot of people just talking about the receivers again. 4 from LSU with 4,000 yards. Of course, that's awesome. Neighbors in there at 8th. I do see something I want to see here. Spectrum Welfare. Tommy Rees next OC, which of course a lot of people are pinballing because number one, the Browns coaching staff may or may not just get all fired this year because they're so bad. Number two, there's the Brian Kelly connection with Tommy Rees. Number three, Tommy Rees is their tight end coach. LSU needs a tight end coach and he can come in. But here's my issue with it. I wasn't impressed with Tommy Rees as a play caller. I wasn't impressed with him too greatly at Notre Dame. And I was not impressed with what he did at Alabama. And of course, a lot of people will point out look at Alabama, how badly their offense dropped off this year versus last year. But I'm like, the offense had its problems last year. Jalen Milroe got worse this year, but Jalen Milroe wasn't great last year either. I'm sorry.
I'm not dumping on Joe Sloan yet. I'm
not saying I'm
that
done
offensive
with
line had major issues. There's a lot of things that, Nussmeier is a work in progress, but boy, you put his junior year up against Burrows and Jaden Daniels' junior years. And if he has even a quarter of the jump that they had from junior to senior years, it spells for highly, highly successful things for LSU next season.
But Mike, do you even think Tommy Rees would be a better play caller than Joe Sloan?
No, I don't. I'm not a big fan of his.
Not a big fan either.
I can tell you nobody in South Bend would welcome him back.
Right. Right. I don't even think people in Tuscaloosa would be happy to see him back. Like, I'm not impressed with Tommy Rees. And I think if you're going to bring in an OC and ask Joe Sloan to take a step down, you need a Grand Slam hire. You don't need some guy who, there's a connection there. Whatever.
All right, guys. One of the things I want to get to too is because of, when we're giving the attaboys and talking about what the job that the LSU football coaching staff and Austin Thomas and them had done. Well, it's a big part of it, and that's Bayou Traditions. And we've got to talk about them. That we're proud to announce our new partnership with LSU's Bayou Traditions Collective, and to help them raise awareness on how fans can provide funds to NIL opportunities to selected LSU student athletes. All contributors who support Bayou Traditions through the options below will receive 4 TAF points per 1,000 contributed. These points will count toward your lifetime and philanthropic point totals. Donating is as simple as visiting the link in our description, BayouTraditionsCollective.com, selecting the fund you like to contribute to, and entering payment information. If you want to set up a recurring payment, simply select the pledge option, and they will follow up with you to get that set up. Help the Tigers be great with the Bayou Traditions Collective. All right.
Love that partnership. They're doing great work right now.
Absolutely, they are. What about our corners and safeties working together in the offseason? God knows, well, Nussmeier can round them up too. You got to have guys that cover his receivers when they work. Let them all get work. Heck, let Derek Stingley come home in the offseason and learn from some guys like him. Tyrann Mathieu is going to be around. You know that. You got a lot of former players for those DBs to work with, not just Corey Raymond. Fire 3449, Mike. My brother lives in Baton Rouge and told me Stroubes is a really nice place to eat. It's really good.
I'll say this about it: of the high scale restaurants in Baton Rouge, I feel it's the best value. It's not that expensive to go out to Stroubes. That's one of the reasons I really love it. But you can certainly compare that plate of food to anybody's in town.
Yep, he's the caliber of the cut of meat that he buys to bring in there is out of this world. Believe me, I'm a steak eater, and I love that place. Mike, I heard Nuss played a big part in getting the Northwestern tackle. I bet he did. It's good for him.
I think he's an interior offensive lineman, though. I think he's a guard.
Yeah, Mike, do you expect the ground attack to be better next season? If so, why do you think that? Because the guards are going to be more athletic next year.
That's a good point.
They're going to be more athletic. You saw a little bit of that tonight. You saw a little bit of the pulling tonight.
Well, also, look at your running back room next year. This should easily be for Brian Kelly's best running back stable he's had his time here, because you're going to have Caden Durham, who should be healthy from his dislocated toes that he's had this year. You're going to have Harlem Berry added to the mix. JT Lindsay gets in there. Maybe or may not Trey Holly might be back. Who knows what's going on with John Emery? I'm just saying that this should be a deep and talented running back room. And frankly, as bad as the offensive line was at run blocking this year, I guess the hope is that the new guys can't be much worse at that.
Brian Burgess, nuts for the Heisman. Look, man, he's got to have a supporting cast to do that. And look at the season he had. Again, like I said earlier, his junior year was better than the last two Heisman winners at LSU. I'm not saying he's going to lead LSU to a national title, but I will say this: he's going to have an opportunity to match at a minimum, I think, or beat Jaden Daniels' win total in his Heisman year.
So did you know in Vegas right now, do you know who has the number one Heisman odds in the country?
No.
It's Arch Manning. Okay. Hilariously, but okay. A guy who hasn't, started but 2 football games. Number 2 in Vegas is Garrett Nussmeier right now at plus 700. So, I don't think it's unreasonable at all to start discussing Nussmeier for Heisman next year. I think he belongs in the conversation.
Yeah. Alumni Hall, everybody, get over there. They're a great supporter of us. Best place to get all your officially licensed LSU gear. They've got it all: Nike, Champion, Johnny O, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, all the highest quality stuff. We're about to get some really, really cold weather. They've got the quarter zip pullovers, the fleece, the hoodies. No one has more high quality LSU gear than the folks over at Alumni Hall. Great store. They're real big in the NIL space. They're supporting the community, and a beautiful store right there off Blue Bonnet. Say Tiger Bait, all one word, in store or online, and you will get 10% off everything you buy. So always say Tiger Bait with Alumni Hall. Or if you're buying online, put Tiger Bait in checkout in the promo code box, and you're going to get 10% off. And the great thing, like I always tell you, is that it ships from Baton Rouge. It's not coming from the Northeast. Most LSU fans watching this show are probably within, the confines of Louisiana or Texas or in the South. It's going to get to you a lot quicker, and because it's shipping from the Baton Rouge store. So give them a call.
That's such a good point.
Yep. There we go. Give the OC a grade for this season, Brian Burgess.
C plus.
I was gonna go B minus, but I can do C plus.
Yeah. I don't know, he had some moments. Look at the direct snap tonight. There's a lot of things I liked. It was very reminiscent of a rookie coordinator calling plays with the new quarterback, offensive line issues and running game issues and all sort of injuries and inconsistent
No deep threat.
Yeah.
Chris Hilton has shown you in the last few games what might have been. What could that have done had he played the way he's played and been healthy all year? How much more of a genius would Joe Sloan might look like if you had that option? Instead, you're trying to hit Xavion Thomas and Aaron Anderson, downfield, and or a tight end and Mason Taylor, who had a fantastic year. But you can't expect those kind of big plays from those guys.
But also, how many deep balls did Nussmeier miss this year? 6, 7, something like that. Anyways, how many of those times it's like you dialed it up perfectly? It's just guys aren't executing. I think there was a lot of that this year. Just guys not executing.
Absolutely.
Pull up his other comment because I thought that was really good. You want to put it up there? besides the QB position, which unit has the most promise for next year? All right, Mike, can you channel your inner posit tiger?
Wide receiver would be the easy answer. Maybe you could also do running back, but if you say what position I'm most excited about, but with the newcomers, I'm really excited to see the edge rushers.
Okay.
I think the edge rushers
Patrick
can be
Payton.
great. I think that can be greatly improved next year. The
Yeah.
edge.
All right. Well, I'll mix it up and I'll go linebacker. Me and Zach were talking about the linebacker room. It's like, man, with Harold Perkins coming back and Whit Weeks back, and then you have West Weeks behind him, Devon Keys showing what he showed, and this freshman class coming in that is very talented. Then you got Jack Pyburn coming from Florida, who, by the way, I love Jack Pyburn's film. I just don't know where he's going to fit. Are they going to put his hand in the dirt and make him an edge rusher or play linebacker? I don't know. We'll see. That's Blake Baker's problem, not mine. But overall, I think linebacking core in terms of talent and depth looks incredible to me. There's other spots. Corner is one I'm very excited. If you want to talk about which group will show the most improvement this year, I think Jakeem Jackson and the Delane kid from Virginia Tech, and then DJ Pickett. I think that corner room could very well be your most improved unit.
I think I probably didn't answer that question right because it's my answer was an answer to a different question. I think what I said with edge rushers is probably the real question that would be that would be the answer for would be what position is really going to be upgraded. And I think it's edge. I think edge rushers can be the one that could be is going to be a lot more is going to be upgraded. But I know people are talking about O-line. Well, certainly, but I think you've also got some newcomers that are going to be a mix into what you've got some redshirt freshmen. They're going to be a part of the discussion. It's not just going to be all the guys that you got in the transfer portal. I wasn't going to be really down on the offensive line either way. So, I mean, especially after once we knew they were getting the center. I've always thought that the O-line was going to be in pretty good hands going forward anyways. There's safety in numbers. And one thing that Davis has done, Brad Davis, is he's brought in solid handfuls every year. He doesn't have the gaps that the previous coaches had before BK, where you would go a year and not have an offensive line in your lineman in your class,
or
one or two, or you'd have a big class of 4, and then you'd only get 1 in 2 years. There's safety in numbers. It's just the bottom line.
I think class composition has improved under Brian Kelly. Maybe, the classes have been, around, 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere around that, that top 10-ish range. However, in terms of bringing in numbers of offensive linemen, I don't think they've ever signed less than 4. And I think you need a starting 22 in every class. And one of the things we harped on this year, okay, so they didn't sign a quarterback this year. You know why? But again, that's one of the things I most dislike about this class. You need a starting 22 every year. Not a starting 22, but a 22 players able to field a football team.
Travis Wilburn is green tight end 1 next year.
Good question.
Man, it's like when you got all these wide receivers that LSU has and what's coming in. I mean, look, you know what he did today. You know what an athlete he is. And you know how thin you are at tight end. He can't be a wide receiver. He's got to be a tight end. All right. Well, then you say, well, he's too light and he's not a very good blocker. Well, you would certainly want your off-season program to put how many pounds of muscle would you want to put on him? 15,
30,
20,
somewhere around there.
25.
I'm saying 30 because of how much his frame can hold.
Right. Well, he's immediately heading to basketball next week. How do you put on muscle when you're running up and down a basketball court? Which, by the way, I talked to an LSU assistant about one of Matt McMahon's assistants about it last week. He's had a locker waiting for him to show up in the men's program with his picture on it and everything. Like Brian Thomas Jr., Trades Green was the best basketball player in Louisiana coming out of high school. So was Brian Thomas, but they were football players. So LSU loses Reed in basketball. And look, I know there's a transition period, but you can't tell me that the athlete that Green is, that he can't give Matt McMahon some rebounds. I don't know how many minutes he's going to give and how long it's going to take. But all of a sudden, I'm a little bit more curious about what Green might be able to give Matt McMahon, because that was certainly a big blow to that basketball team losing Reed.
Mike and the chat, because I can't remember this. When was the last time at LSU a football player successfully managed to be a football player in their career? I just cannot recall one who's ever actually done it.
Well, if you want to go really far back, Ben McDonald did it, but that didn't last long.
That's
obviously.
Baseball, though, right?
Yep. Lyle Mouton, same thing. And then Marcus Spears attempted it, and I don't think he lasted a week.
That's what I'm saying. It's very rare that a player can, because it's specifically basketball, football. I mean, they're packed right on top of each other. They're intertwined.
But I think with his athleticism and 6'7", you're not asking him to come in and be a scorer. I think he can fill the paint and get you some rebounds and give you some minutes. We'll see.
But, worth noting, the question is whether he'll be tight end 1 next year. And, Bauer Sharp is a good player, a physical player, more of a blocker than Trades Green. And he did catch 42 balls in an anemic Oklahoma offense this year. So he's going to fight for that tight end 1 position. And I think to beat Bauer Sharp, Trades is going to have to develop as a blocker. I don't think you can go out there and just be an elite receiver and beat out Bauer Sharp.
Scott, congratulations on your engagement, Mike. Thank you for that. Got engaged Christmas Eve.
Oh, I didn't know we were public with that. Let's go.
Scott forced my hand. I guess I could have ignored it, but thank you for that.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. Green will be tight end 1. I just like to see him get bigger. I want to see him get heavier. And a guy like him, the thing about it is you could put 20 pounds on him and you're not at 6'7", you're not going to notice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. I don't think he's going to be too thick and stocky.
No.
With 30 pounds.
He's 6'7".
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can add a lot of weight onto him, and he'll still have plenty of speed. I don't think he's ever going to be a blocking first tight end, but he could get a bigger frame. Think about like a Gronkowski or Kelsey, where those guys aren't major big blockers, but they're definitely receiving first tight ends. But they certainly have more meat on them than Trades has at this point.
There you go, Bart. Yeah, we could talk about it there. Yeah.
When's the wedding, Mike?
Yeah, now you're really
pressing you for details.
Yeah. No, but the BFFs approve Big Stat Kelly. Okay,
dude, I cannot
look at his. Did he have that on your show? When did that come up?
He had that on my show last week, and I meant to highlight it, but that's funny. For those who don't know the story behind Mr. X Kelly here, it started as Big Cojones Kelly after the Bama game in 2022. Then after the 3-game lose streak, he said no Cojones Kelly, and now with the portal, we're back to Big Stat Kelly.
I like that one. That's a good one. Yeah, like the reset, Big Stat Kelly. Like I said, I think a lot of people are excited about or I'll say, bottom line, people are more positive and upbeat going into 2025 than they were 4 to 6 weeks ago, right?
Oh yeah. My co-host here included.
Absolutely caught a good one. We love you, Mike. Mike caught a good one. All right. I absolutely did. All right, let's see. I know what I need to do. I got one more, and not last in our hearts for sure. Capital City Grill, and one of our fantastic sponsors. Capital City Grill, 100 Lafayette Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Ideal lunch, dinner stop, fantastic brunch on Sundays, variety of sandwiches, burgers, seafood, pasta, everything priced at $30 below for an affordable experience. And that Sunday brunch from 11 to 2 is out of this world. And go to capitalcitygrill.net and you can look at the menu. Capital City Grill also has a fantastic Facebook page with a lot of images. Their Instagram as well. You can see a lot of the stuff that's on the menu. And believe me, if you just look at the pictures, you're heading over there. And so capitalcitygrill.net, and please be sure to let them know Tiger Bait sent you in. And if you load up, you see that Eggs Benedict on the screen. Always, if you're like sweets like me, get the carrot cake to go. Best carrot cake in Baton Rouge. I'm not just selling you a bill of goods. Trust me. I got a sweet tooth. I know where to go get this one and that one. The carrot cake there is the best. Yeah, hopefully national championship Kelly is next. Who's your MVPs on O&D? I'm going to go Nussmeier. I've been saying Aaron Anderson was my MVP all year long. I think I'm going to give it to Nussmeier. My second place would be Aaron Anderson, maybe tied with Mason Taylor. But defense, I guess I'll go Weeks.
Would you say Aaron Anderson fumbled the MVP for you tonight? Anyways,
I still would have given it to Nuss overall, I think.
I think Nussmeier definitely deserves it. We're talking about a 4,000-yard season. He did have 12 interceptions. Mike, how many interceptions did you predict Nussmeier to have this year?
I said 12. What did he end up with?
Cheeky bastard. He ended up with 12.
Didn't I say 12?
Yeah, you said 12. I can't stand it when you're that correct. I really dislike it, but here you are. I'm sitting here analyzing, well, he threw 2 interceptions in his last
I wasn't even thinking about it.
attempts.
I wasn't even thinking about it. So he got 12
you hit the dot. I as soon as he threw the 12, I said, God dog it. I got to tell the world Mike Scarborough was right. But that's okay. Preston was right about waiting for the portal and seeing what the roster looks like. But anyways, you nailed it.
You could have really done a Preston and said, well, I think your 12 was regular season.
No. I'm gonna give that. I'm gonna give that.
That would have been a Preston move for sure.
No. I mean, when you hit the number, I'm gonna give it to you any context. Okay, but 12, that's impressive. Worth noting, he did throw like 600 passes this year.
What if he can cut those in half next season?
Right. That's what I'm saying. If he works on that one area and we can improve touchdowns a little bit, I mean, the yardage and production is there. I think a one step forward in both categories, I think puts Nussmeier squarely in the conversation for Heisman and puts LSU in the discussion for the playoffs. I don't think that's very wild or I don't think it's outlandish to predict that. So absolutely, but good on you for hitting it on the head with the 12 interceptions.
All right, everybody. I want to wish you all a happy new year. Thank you all for tuning in with us tonight and all year long. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell. And we thank all of you for supporting Tiger Bait. Head over to tigerbait.com and subscribe to our website, please. $1, you can try us out. Got a lot of recruiting. Our Garrett Ross, I've got 2 or 3 recruiting stories that I'll be posting here in the next couple of days that you'll want to read. And, of course, like Hal said earlier, basketball season is here. Thank God SEC plays ready to go. Some of these games, I'm ready for SEC play. And what an SEC season is going to be. This time last year, and I'm talking about women's hoops because that's the beat I cover. Only 2 SEC teams were ranked in the top 25. Now there's 8. So you're not going to go and wait till into January, February for South Carolina. You're going to be getting a hard diet of LSU with some big, meaningful basketball games. And we're going to see, like I said earlier, Trades Green. There's a lot going on here. Easter is, I think, April 20th. We're going to start talking about spring football now, what those dates are going to look like. Usually LSU has their spring game first or second Saturday in April. LSU baseball is going to be here in a month. They'll be starting up. So everything is moving quick. And so we'll have all that for you on Tiger Bait. But if y'all are going out tonight, be careful. Don't drink and drive, and be careful. And anything you want to add, Preston?
Mike, did you see the milestone we hit on the channel this week? 34,000 subscribers.
34,000 subscribers.
That's
yeah,
right.
I did.
Continue to roll. The growth of this channel has been insane. I think we started 3 years ago with 1,000 subscribers or something like that. We really started pushing on YouTube, so it's been great. And I just wanted to thank all y'all for that. Congratulations on getting engaged, Mike. Very happy for you. And y'all, thank y'all for watching. I just want everybody to know, be safe driving tonight. There's going to be a lot of drunk drivers out there. I don't want to see any of our BFFs in the newspaper tomorrow. So y'all be safe.
Happy New Year, Mike and Preston. You guys always have the best post-game show. I pray and God bless you have even more in 2025. And I'm going to let Pearl River take a shot. He deserves all the praise to put up with this grumpy attitude. I'm good with it, Pearl. You make me laugh on that one. All right, guys. I'm glad we won today because the SEC isn't doing so well this bowl season, and I'm just fine with it, Tiger Mark. To be honest with you, I don't know about you, Preston. Are you as good with it as I am?
I tell people,
or would you prefer to see Alabama beat Michigan earlier?
So I think the fans who root for SEC teams when you are an SEC fan are insane. Okay, like if you root for an SEC team, people in the SEC you have to recruit against, so their success hurts you directly. So I'm always one of those guys, to hell with the SEC, man. I hope they all burn. It's just my mentality with it. But you do what you want, people.
You too, and again, Happy New Year, everybody. And we're heading out. BK's presser's on, and it's up on our YouTube channel if you haven't watched that yet. Preston's game story is up on Tiger Bait, and Lazar will be sending his analysis here real soon. So a little bit more work to do, but we'll see you on the other side. Live show next week. I might do something live on Thursday, me and Buddy. Check back with you with me. I think we might do something on Thursday. So, all right, everybody, have a good New Year. Good night.